Okay, first of all, hi. This is actually my real life friend, and she and I have these kinds of discussions all the time. So I wanted to give you your own video in a response because you brought up some really great points. So, on the 66 books and 40 authors argument, I actually find this argument really interesting. A lot of those cross references to Jesus actually work because New Testament authors were writing deliberately to fulfill Hebrew prophecy. And you can find this explicitly in Matthew. He says, "This was written to fulfill what was written," over and over. So the fulfillment can't be used as independent evidence when the authors intentionally constructed the narrative around prophecies they already knew. That's not corroboration, that's intentional literary architecture. And also, bringing up the Quran is a really interesting point because I'd agree there are historical problems within the Quran as well. But are you willing to apply the same historical methodology to the New Testament? Because the same tools that you're using to question the Quran are exactly the same tools that critical scholars use to apply to the Gospels. And they reach some pretty uncomfortable conclusions: anonymous authorship, late dating, and textual transmission. If historical criticism is a valid tool for evaluating the Quran, it follows that it has to be a valid tool for also validating the New Testament and everything in the Bible for that matter. Otherwise, we're just using evidence when it helps our case and setting it aside when it doesn't. The one thing I will say about Thomas is that you brought up this pseudo-epigraphy argument for Thomas. Attaching a famous name to borrow from their authority was a form of ancient plagiarism. You're absolutely right about that. And that's exactly what scholars call pseudoepigraphy. And that's the same argument that critical scholars make, including some Christian conservative ones, about several letters in the New Testament. Some of those letters claim to be written by Paul, but almost certainly were not. In 2 Timothy, Titus, Ephesians, and Colossians. Same practice, some inside the canon, some outside. Now, I love you. I'm not saying this to shake your faith or to lead you astray. I'm saying this so that way we can talk about all of the evidence across the board and apply it honestly. And that's not to say that I know everything about this stuff. I'm doing my research. I'm reading a lot of scholarly works on this because I want to know the truth of what the evidence shows us that we actually have.